Hi, now we have another phone from Russia. This is the VEF TA 60, commonly called the Cow Muzzle because of the shape of the actual phone itself. I understand this one started around 1962. I think it's in Bakelite. Started around 62 or earlier. Not, in my opinion, a very well made phone. Probably due to the fact that a lot of the materials were built down to a price. But nevertheless, these probably worked. We can show you the innards. Little tiny bell, which I've come across this size bell before, with the tiny coils. I had to adjust the bells to make them work. Well, make it so they tingled nicely. On a printed board. Screws used are all brass, not silver. They are brass and shows brass. The induction coil, I can show it to you, is of a typical design which I've found in other Russian phones. There's writing on it, but I can't see what it says. I'll see if I can get a bit closer. Any writing on it is that, which is the trademark of VEF. This obviously goes back a few years. The cordage is the untwisted coil. It's cotton covered or silk covered, and also the line cords of the same material. The capacitors are of the old style. I think these were probably paper. You've got your cradle springs. Funny enough, the base is quite shiny, no rust or anything. Most of the screws, not all, but most of them, well, I think most of them, were painted with a dab of paint to keep them unwinding. Even on the printed circuit boards. The printed circuit boards are held down by 3 screws, one under the cradle screw adjustments, the cradle, not adjustments, but what holds the cradle springs up. You can see a screw down there. And the other 2 are each side of the induction coil. So presumably you take those out, the rest of it comes loose. The capacitors are a little bit wobbly. They should be checked over, and if necessary just put a dab of araldite, just a small amount, to keep them from shaking about. They have got a clip over the top, but it's not very effective. The cables coming in, the wires coming in, are held by 2 little metal clips, so they're kept quite firm actually. This whole phone feels quite old. You've got on there, I can notice there's writing on one of the bell coils. doesn't come up very clear, with the company logo and side of the capacitor. You've got a date there, 62. I imagine that's the date. And on the other capacitor, 62. I know it's upside down, but it's 62. Anyhow, unfortunately, the dial, which I took off, is completely had it. It's in a horrible state. It's a shame, but as you can see, not just plasticky, but completely plastic. Even the little holes that hold the little pivot pins, if you like, are in plastic, so they would wear. I noticed someone's written on there 1616. I don't know what that means. Well, that's the name of the dial. But I understand this dial was the typical dial for this particular phone. Look, I think it's about 5 wires that go into it as well. Yep, is it 5 or 6? 5. There's 5 wires go into this arrangement. Very, very crude, unfortunately. It presumably did work. Must have worked. But not one of the better dials. It'd been so much better if this was made of metal. But presumably it did work, but not now. It's got a cover that goes on top of it, which would fit onto the dial. I think like so. Would fit on like that with a little screw that holds in. And now let me show you the handset. It's a nice white. It's amazing how this has remained white and has not changed colour. Remember rightly, I've shown phones which originally started off as ivory or white, and they've got coloration of sort of a cream coloured, but this one has obviously remained white. Also the case, and the case is in very good condition. I thought I saw a crack there, but I didn't. It's one of my hairs from one of the pussycats. In very good nick. The only, as I say, the only down point is this dial, which, where I'm going to get one of those from, I don't know. I think they're probably a bit like gold dust. And also, you've got, I'll put it around the right way, you've got that diagram. Hold it on there whilst if anyone wants this particular diagram, they can take a picture of it, of the TA60. And also another diagram that's showing up. Showing where the actual wires go. So, all in all, a nice phone to restore. It's also nice that the case is in perfect condition. There's no damage to the case or the handset, or in fact the actual chassis. The only problem appears to be the dial. Whether another dial could be fitted in there, I don't know. I don't think so. This would be a dial, would be for this model, VEF VTA60, known as the Cow Muzzle. Obviously the shape of that is probably looks like a cow's muzzle. And that's more or less all I've got to say on this phone. Any information, please let us know. If anyone knows where to get a new, and I say new as inverted commas, dial for this, or a dial that's actually working. The front of it's got a different finger stop as well. The finger stop is of that design. It's had a horrible design, but I suppose if you've got a limited amount of money to spend out on these things, you will cut costs. And this is definitely an example where costs have been cut. Oh, let's show you the back of this phone. There's what's on the back. You've got the maker logo there. Once again, very clean back, no rust. It looks like the whole metal part has been anodised. I don't know if that's the right word. These are the way they hold the printed circuit in. And you've got the metal formed up to keep the cables in. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. Yep. And any comments please make. As I say, would love one of those that's actually working. It might mean I pick another one of these up that has got a battered case, but hopefully the dial works. But how do you know the dial works? It's a bit of a gamble. So we'll wait and see. I don't even know where I got this one from, possibly from a seller in Ukraine. As I said before, Ukraine supplied loads of these phones. I'm only wondering how their war is going to affect these phones. It's terrible what's going on over there, and obviously I wish it would come to an end very soon, but unfortunately I don't think it will. But I know many of these Russian, Polish phones which were from behind the Iron Curtain have been turning up from, and there was a very good one, and there were good sellers as well. So my wish, as I say before, is hope everything's going to go okay, but I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath. I thought I'd seen all these things when I was born in 44. We just got rid of World War II, and to see this war coming back or come back is not good. Ugh, brings back memories of houses bombed, bomb sites, willow herb plants which thrived on bomb sites. Anyhow, I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to stop. So once again, thanks. Oh, by the way, thanks for any comments re my last video on the plants or the compost of John Innes. It seems it's affected other people as well. Anyhow, thanks again. I shall forget myself and carry on talking. I know I like talking, but anyhow, I must stop. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Thank you.